welcome to Naptime Nuggets. I am so glad that you've been able to join us today. This is all about decreasing your stress, enhancing your joy, and increasing your success in one nugget a week. I'll be coming to you every week for now the next 5 weeks. As long as you guys are here, I'm going to be here. And every single week, Krista is going to look who's participating, who's here, and she's going to do a drawing for a free online class with me, Raylene Asberg, from Thriving Together. I'm so very thankful that I have all of you to join together and learn with every single week. It's lonely here out by myself in an office with all this social isolating stuff going on. So I'm super excited to be here. So this today, Naptime Nuggets number 59 is when kids want answers, managing children's feelings and questions right now, right during this anxiety producing time. But this is going to be about when they want information. So here they are. They ask questions. Sometimes it's about their feeling. Why can't we go to the park? That's what we talked about last week. This week, we're going to talk about what about when they want information, especially topics that make us cringe, like sex, coronavirus, death. And then next week, we're going to be talking about human differences, which is going to be a whole nother topic in and of itself, a very important topic right now with the political time, the political events that have been happening recently and over the last many years. So for these Zoom webinars that we're doing Naptime Nuggets with, they're only going to be about 10 to 15 minute nuggets max. So very little commitment, but I will always leave you with a tip or tool you can apply today. Just know with these Zoom webinars that when you go to do comments, you do the comments to all panelists and attendees. So I won't have comments during the breadth of what the information I'm presenting, but afterward, for those who want to stay, we'll have a question and answer and we'll apply it more. But right after that 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to let everybody go. We'll do the drawing, and then anyone who wants to stay can stay to ask and get questions answered. So you control your view. You can make the chat bigger or smaller. If what you really want to do is you want to make sure, if you only see the PowerPoint right now, that you push the escape button, because you really want to have where you see me and the PowerPoint. You can also make your webcam bigger or smaller. So when difficult questions come up, as I talked about last week, Kim Jackson did a great little webinar from Conscious Discipline. And so I shared the link for that. I'll share that again. And she talked about when kids bring their feelings and their difficult questions, they're either maybe looking for understanding or information. And so last week we talked about what to do when they're looking for understanding. Today we're going to look at information. So imagine me. I have a 4-year-old. I'm, trying to get her in the bath, get things done around cleaning up, trying to get dinner, everything. I'm busy. And I come running into the bathroom to grab something. And my daughter says, "Mom, where do babies come from?" Oh, here I am in this moment. Guess what? I answered it truthfully. I gave her accurate information, and I remained relatively calm. How could that be? How could I have done that? Well, I'll tell you, I did that because I was prepared. I had thought ahead of time about what I will say in that difficult moment. So I was already ready to go. I knew I had my bullet points in my head of the things that I wanted to say. And so I'm going to give a couple guidelines today to think about with any difficult question, but also I'm going to give some words that you can use when you're answering those questions. So if you've determined they're looking for information, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So here we go. I have the question, where do babies come from? First of all, I'm going to take a breath. I might even say something like, "That's a great question," just to let her know what. I want to think about the future that I really want. So if you want kids to come to adults to get accurate information, we need to give them accurate information and also make them feel like that's a good question, that they should be able to bring that question to us. If I get really nervous, if I start to get embarrassed, or if I get angry or any range of negative emotions, that child might be more nervous about bringing questions to me in the future. So I really want to think about the future I want. I want a world where my kids and the kids I care for are going to come to me when they have these questions, not their peers who may or may not even know. So I'm going to consider then, what is she asking? what is she actually asking? Does she want to know all about sex? No, probably not. 3, 4-year-olds, they're very concrete. They're very basic. So I need to bring it to her level. So you can find out by asking the child question like, oh, what are you wondering about that? But in my case, I already knew. She's a little scientist. She watched National Geographic shows. So I knew she was asking, really, she wants to know where babies come from. So I gave her my staple statement, which went something like this. Oh, well, women have little eggs inside of them and men have little sperm inside of them. And when the egg and the sperm join together, they create a baby. That baby grows and grows in the mom's belly over time and then forms into a full baby that's born. Some kids would stop there. She didn't. Well, but how do they get together? Well, the man puts his penis into the vagina and then the sperm comes out and it swims up toward where the egg is and then it meets up with the egg. Are any of you cringing right now? I had already practiced this in my head, so I was very relaxed because I wanted to send her calm, comfortable messages about sex. And I knew from my learning at the University of Minnesota that you really want to keep very basic language so that they can understand what you're saying and they have the right language to use if they ever need it. So she said, well, but how does the sperm get in there? And the questions continued until really at 4 years old, I told her the very basic information about how babies are made and born. So not everybody has this reaction. So my second one comes along. She didn't even ask about where babies came from until she was about 6. And then we're riding in the car, her and Haley are in the back, and she says, Mom, where do babies come from? And I say, oh, basically same exact thing. The woman has a little sperm, the little eggs, the man has a little sperm, they get together, they form a baby inside the belly, and then the woman gives birth to the baby. Oh, yuck. That's it. That's it. That was the end of our sex conversation. So what did I do here for a guideline? I kept the information concrete. I kept it truthful and I kept it accurate. So I was calm. I was matter of fact. Think about a National Geographic movie. Think about what they see dogs do, what they see cats do, and different animals they might run into depending on their world. We were even at the zoo and watched babies being born. So, we had seen things around this. And so that made it a lot more helpful to just keep it basic. So if you don't know, then you want to find out. And there's also a lot of great resources for teaching kids, like books about I was thinking I'm going to link to a couple of these because I've been looking at them. I'm like, these are great. They're just very basic books that really can help you give kids the visuals they need and keep the conversation very simple and age appropriate. And then the recommendation is that you do it in little bits. And so you're going to come back and check in later and ask them, oh, you were asking where babies come from. Did you have any more questions about that? Because the message I'm going to be sending her is, I'm okay to talk about that. You can talk about that with me. So some of you might be thinking, that is not my way. That is not how I would do it. That's fine. Think about what your values are. Think about what messages you want to send. Think about what future you want to create when it comes to your kids coming to you and believing that you're going to be truthful and building that trust with the children, that you're going to give them accurate information. And you think about how you want to word it, and then you'll be more confident when the time comes up for you. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how you might answer the sex question. So, you can do this. Death is another example. You do the exact same thing. So if my daughter asked me, my dad, he passed away when he was 55, and my daughter was right around 3.5, and she said, what does die mean? And I said, well, it's when the body stops. And so the body gets where it can't breathe, or the heart isn't working, or the lungs aren't working. And so your body stops working. Now, some people say, oh, you go to heaven or something like that. But at 3.5, they're very concrete. They don't understand what that means. So if you say they go to heaven, they think there's some place that they are. So for ease, and because I'd heard that before, I did add some language like that. And then about 2 months later, we went to my dad's place to clean it out. And we go walking into the house and she says, where's Grandpa Tom? So she's still looking for him. She didn't understand. So you can help by keeping the information factual and straightforward. When you see a bug on the ground that's been squished, it's not crawling anymore. Do you see how it had life? Those ants that are crawling and running around, they still have life in them. But now this ant's body isn't working anymore. It got hurt. they can understand that it can be very basic for them. We can have all these concepts about sex or death, and we get worried about those, or might get embarrassed, or have a lot of anxiety or sadness or emotions that are tied up in those two things. But kids don't. They really are very concrete, very basic about this. So that's basically, at a nutshell, when it comes to sex and death and other difficult topics. You're going to take a deep breath, remain calm, give accurate information, and when things come up that you don't know, that you don't understand, you start to look it up. So one more thing then, what do we do about coronavirus? Because questions come up and we don't necessarily know how to answer them. So the CDC has recommendations. And so in Kim Jackson's video, there's also some recommendations I'll share in just a moment, but really it's the same idea. Remain calm. You're going to reassure them they're safe. Kids, some adults get sick and they get really sick, but a lot of kids, they get sick and they have very mild symptoms. You talk very clearly about what we can do, because that's helpful. What can we do to keep safe? We need to wash our hands. Why do we wash our hands 20 minutes? I'm going to be linking to some videos that actually show why. One of them is very interesting. Why do we wash for 20 minutes? Well, it shows the hand washing for a minute, for 5 minutes. I mean, yeah, we're either going to stay there 5 minutes and wash our hands. No, we aren't. So it shows if you wash your hands for a few seconds versus if you do it longer, or if you do it the full time that you're supposed to. And you would never believe the difference in the germs on the hand unless you've seen this. Well, you show that to kids 3, 4, and older, and they get it. It's very simple. Germs are on your hands. If you wash your hands the full 20 seconds, the germs are off your hands. But if you wash them with soap, I have another link for you that shows if you wash them with water, why it is that washing them with water doesn't work. And it has a little experiment where they put the oil into the water and it doesn't work. It doesn't work to clean that way. So then you put the soap in there and it actually breaks down that dirt. So they show it right on the video. So it's great for those science-minded little kiddos, and it'll teach them a lesson. And with a couple of videos, they'll learn why they should wash their hands. There's a third one that actually teaches how, and it has little kids washing their hands. It's so cute. You guys are going to love it. You can show it to kids. You can sing the song if you just want to do it with a song. And it really helps for getting kids to kind of see how to wash your hands and why to wash your hands in a very factual way. Kids can feel less anxiety if they know that they can do something about it. So coronavirus, it's just another virus. There's viruses all over in the community. Sometimes if we get a virus, we get a little bit sick. And sometimes when we get a virus, it can make us very sick. So with this one, we want to make sure to keep everybody safe. So what I love is Kim Jackson in her video, they actually have these free visuals that you can use and download. And so this is showing kids when they come to you with questions about, that nervousness, they need information about how they're going to stay safe. She says, you just walk them through it. What can we do to stay safe? First, you can wash your hands. If you wash your hands and you wash your hands the full 20 seconds, you will not pass the virus to other people. If you keep your distance, so you have enough space in between you so the little droplets from your mouth don't get onto other people or touching them or rubbing on them, spreading those germs between each other. You just need to keep that bit of space. And this is about not touching your hands to your face. Have you guys went crazy trying to not do that? But if you show them, like, practice keeping them on your legs, practice giving yourself a hug, practice patting your back, but don't touch your face. You can make it a game, you can make it fun, you can play around with it, but it gives kids thoughts about what they can do. And when they have thoughts about what they can do, they have less anxiety. And then the last one, of course, is wear masks. And I know there's a lot of ups and downs and feelings about wearing masks right now, but kids can be very simple and concrete. You have little droplets come out of your mouth that spread germs. You put on a mask, it keeps the germs in. So that's options. You don't have to show them all the pictures, but it is nice to have those useful tools. That's about in a nutshell. I'm going to send you the couple links with the articles, and so you can access those and those videos on washing your hands, so you can have those. But you got to feel for it, right? Kids come, and you know what? They're curious. They're curious. It's natural. They want to know, what can I do? What is happening with this? Give me some more information about it. I want to know. And they really want to come to us because they believe we know everything. They're not going to always believe that, but They believe it now, right? When they're little, they think adults know everything. And so we want to make sure we do know and we give accurate information. And when we don't know, we do something about it, right? We find out what that accurate information is. So that's basically it. What I'm going to do next week is I'm going to talk about what do we do about race? What do we do about differences? Even 10-month-old babies notice differences in skin color and differences in way of looking and being and gender differences, even those little babies. So if we don't talk about it, the research shows, especially white parents don't want to talk about it. They want to act like everybody's equal. That actually transfers. So what you want to know about information and when kids are requesting it is not saying anything and or getting kind of nervous about it or sharing misinformation is all information. So what can we do to make sure kids kind of get in their heart and soul what we want them to when it comes to race relations and differences? Because if they ask us a question and we go, shh, we don't talk about that, that sends a very strong message, and that can actually increase bias and racism. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that next week. I hope you can join us. And for those of you who need to go today, I want to say thank you for joining me. We truly are more together. It takes a big heart to shape little minds. They come to us with insecurity. They come to us with questions. And how we stay calm and answer those questions is going to either decrease their anxiety, and the information that they have is going to go up, the helpful information, the useful information, or it's going to increase their anxiety and decrease the amount of helpful and useful information they have. So remember, you know it all. So help share accurate information and support those little ones in their journey to understand this very complicated world.